Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Q&A show on Inside the Birds platform. I'm Jason Avant. I'm here from sunny California, stuck in some back office. Got to get this show on the road, make sure that the fans still get the Q&A show. On the other side is my main man, my teammate, my good friend, Quintin. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody? Hey, Jay, man, I admire the dedication, man. No matter where you're at, we get the show done, right?
We're going to get it done, whether it's Miami and it's in a closet somewhere, if it's, Cleveland, whatever, we're going to get the Q&A show out to the people. We got to do it.
Love it.
All right, before we get right into the show, and this will be, I don't know when we're going to come back. We're going to have a show over the break, but we're not going to be able to cover Eagles football for a while. So this is that last show of 2021-22 season. It's kind of a sad day. Kind of ended on a higher note than we anticipated as far as the Eagles going to the playoffs. But before we get into that, want to thank Jeff and Adam and Josh and Hunter, everyone that put on the Inside the Birds or Q&A podcast on Inside the Birds platform. Thank you guys for all the support, all the fans that are reaching out each and every week. We really do appreciate you guys. Thank you for making this show a success. Thank you guys again to all of our sponsors, to DraftKings, to Manscaped, everyone else that's responsible. Thank you guys so very, very much. Remember, make sure that you email your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com, insidethebirds@gmail.com. Check us out, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Inside the Birds platform drops every Thursday at 6 a.m. We'll give you details of what's coming up with the Q&A podcast in the future. But Q, let's get into this game and let's get into what's transpired over the season pretty much, right? Eagles lose a very it looked better at the end than what it actually looked like throughout the game. They got completely dominated. 31-15 victory for the Buccaneers, dominated the Eagles pretty much the entire game. Wasn't a pretty game. We didn't play our best game, and you got to go out and play your best game versus a Hall of Fame, if not the best quarterback that ever lived, and Tom Brady. And they started out a little bit shaky and had many opportunities to be in this game, but the Eagles couldn't capitalize on it. What does losing by 16, being down by 28 again, say about the Eagles?
Yeah,
who are they really?
I mean, that's at the end of the day, is like what they say, right? You are what your record says you are. You are what the score says you are. So now the Eagles didn't do enough to help themselves, but it's fair to say that this team is minimum 16 points behind the Bucs in terms of athleticism, not athleticism, but in terms of actual, ability to play this game. I mean, this is a good team that they face. The Bucs, they're coming back. They're getting healthy at the right time. They're getting hot. And obviously, we know what Tom Brady does.
Yeah.
They're hitting their stride at the right time. And it seems like the Eagles, they were hitting the stride, and then, they had the little hiccup at the end of the season and, just kind of went out with a fizzle. So, yeah, it's frustrating, but I think this team is probably right where the score says they are.
Yeah. It's tough. Look, everyone, like, people have been getting on me, Q, about calling me a hater and I'm a traitor and all of these things just because I have an opinion. And I'm Eagles through and through. I want the team to win. Just because I want them to win, I will not turn off my professional lens, right, to call things the way that they are. I used to call things the way that they are when I played, and I would keep it real, and I would tell my teammates and tell people, like, listen, in order to beat this team, we have to play at our highest level because, truthfully, their roster is better than ours. So that means that we have to come out with our A game, just to be honest about things. And I think it's the same thing, right? The Bucs had a better roster overall, even with Antonio Brown out, even with Chris Godwin out, Cyrus Grayson out, many others out at the time. Their roster is better. and especially their defense in comparison to our offense. And that's what it showed. We couldn't run the football on them because I don't know if you've seen what Vita did to Jason Kelsey on one of those, put him on a highlight reel. And you know, Jason's my man, but that's just not the best matchup for him. If you're just going down the hill and there's one-on-ones with that big dude, it's just not. And Jason has his strengths, but just not the best matchup with Sue and, you know, Vita and, you know, Shaq and JPP. It was just not the greatest matchup. So their roster is better. So they had the advantage when it came to talent. Now the Eagles did not help them by coming out and playing like they, you know, the game was actually being played on Monday instead of Sunday. They came out with lethargic, no energy, leaving plays on the field, missed throws, guys just uninterested in making hustle plays. Like there were multiple opportunities out there to get plays made and get things done, and the Eagles just didn't do that. So being down by 16 to the Bucs, a better team, a more talented team, and then you play really bad, the two will never equal a win. It just doesn't. You have to play at your max when the team is more talented than you. So that's what the game came down to. Did the coaching staff craft a bad game plan, or was it more talent and execution? Right. So what was the issue? Do you think it was a bad game plan, or do you think it was just that Bucs were superior talent, or do you think it was just a lack of execution?
Well, I think it's going to go a little bit further than that. And we talked about this on the show as well. I think this actually, it comes down to coaching, but and the coaching part of it to me goes all the way back to the Dallas game. It goes back to the fact that you sat all your starters. And I understand that there were some concerns about, you know, if someone tested positive for COVID and end up missing the playoff game, I understand that. But when you have a starting young quarterback on the sidelines not dressing, you have most of your offense on the sidelines not dressing for that game, even though you didn't necessarily need it. We both said that you have to keep that continuity, right? So, you know, to me, the slow start, especially on the offense, is I think very much attributed to the fact that they hadn't played in 2 weeks. I mean, let's call it what it is. You get rusty, right? And you lose that momentum that you built. And so, you know, I'm watching the first half of the game, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, this does not look like the same team. And yes, the Bucs they're a good team, and they did come out with a very good game plan. But you know, coaching wise, we ran the ball I don't even know what.
It wasn't a lot. We ran the ball 17 times.
Yeah, you know, and then Jalen Hurts is your leading rusher in terms of carry attempts. And we said all along, in order to have a chance in this game, you have to run the ball. You have to commit to running the ball. Running the ball doesn't necessarily mean you have to get 10, 15, 20 yards a pop, but you have to make the defense think about something else. You have to make them think, okay, you know we can. If you have a team that's not even attempting to run the ball, everybody's going to pin their ears back, and that's what we saw. And you know, before you know it, defensively, you come out slow and you let Tom Brady get rolling. You're down by 17 points, and it's hard to come back from that. So
and it's hard to run the ball.
Yeah, and it's hard to run the ball. So I think it comes down to coaching, definitely execution in some plays, especially the first half. But I place the blame on the coaching staff with this one.
I can't 100% put it on the coaching staff. I will say that a large part of it is coaching staff, especially Gannon, because there is now we got some sacks because, you know, Tristan Wirfs was out and the backup, you know, tackle couldn't handle Ryan Kerrigan and whoever else they put at him, right? So they ended up getting off the field a few times. You know, I think it was 3 and out before they figured out, you know, they got to keep a guy in there to kind of help him, right? So they were able to get off the field then. But when you start to think about Tom Brady and who he is, he's going to be able to figure out your defense.
Yep.
He's going to be able to dink and dunk. He's going to be able to make completions at a high level. and sitting there just allowing him to get it whenever he wants to get it, not challenging the guys. Very rarely are guys impressed like what we've always done and challenging the receivers. And there's just times where guys are just completely wide open. They're just blown coverage, like tight end of one end zone. I don't think it was a person within 20 yards of this guy on the red zone. Like it's craziness, right? So when you start to think about these things like that, to me, is more Gannon. Now, defensively, offensively, and you may think, oh, he's giving them out. I'm not giving them out. I just know that Todd Bowles' defense is a more superior, talented team than the Eagles' offense. It's just the truth, right? Because they had the formula in order to deter the Eagles from running the ball because they could not win the matchups between the guards. Mm-hmm. And now, if I can deter you from continuing to run the ball up the middle, I can put Whitehead and I can put Winfield on the edges and run Miles Sanders down on the outside zone. Or, whenever we would try to hit it outside. And we try to hit it outside 5-6 times. Always either a tackle for loss or right at the line of scrimmage. Right? Because the safeties were down. And it was, I looked at it, it was 3 clips. 3 clips that I seen on defense where the safety, the single safety middle, they were in man, they had to stop the run. The freaking single safety middle was at 7.5 yards. So they were lined up in they lined up in nickel defense, the 3 receivers on the field on the 3rd down, and the safety in a running situation, the safety was at 7.5. The middle of the field safety was 7.5. Like, dude, he's like, it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. They not back. They trying to run for it. Just not much creativity. You know what I mean? And that's when you know that I just think they're a superior talented team. When you have enough confidence to play defense that way, they're saying your guys can't hurt me.
Yep, that's it. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. So. And then there's lack of execution. Jalen didn't play extremely well. KYP, man. I got to take it. Hold on. I got to take this. I got to take this because this is going to be a little rant right here.
All right.
All right. I'm tired of seeing. And I love Jalen Hurts. I'm tired of seeing you choose Jalen Reagor over Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert. I don't give a damn what the coverage look like. I don't care. I do not care. In a critical moment, a 4th down, a 3rd down, where the game is being decided and it's in a balance, why in the hell will you continue to target that guy when there's another guy that can get open at a higher percentage and catch the ball at a higher percentage? Don will look at me and wink. I don't give a damn who's covering you. I know that you're going to throw. I know you're going to get open and catch it. And even if you're not open, you not being open because of your hands is a higher opportunity than somebody that looks like they're open. Like KYP, know your personnel. And this is not just this game. This is throughout the entire season. Yeah. KYP, like how many times does he have to fail in that moment before you realize that I need to, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down throwing it to one of my better pass targets.
Yep.
Shit. Forget. Like you just like, what is going on? I don't
know. And going back and watching that play again, it was like quadruple covered on that play. You talking about the tip ball Shaq intercepted? Is that the play?
Oh man, it was multiple. It was a 4th down. It was a 3rd down. It's like time. It's timely things that he's going to Reagor when it shouldn't be. I know that he may have the single coverage or whatever it is. Listen, it's single coverage for a reason.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, go where the bread is buttered. You know what I mean? So yeah, but yes, and even on that Shaq interception, he's triple covered. Yeah. There's going to be a pick no matter what.
Yeah. So, and then one of the things I noticed too in the game, and you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about Todd Bowles. I mean, watching his blitz schemes, he took advantage of the crack splits by the receivers. He had double corner blitzes off the edge. I mean, I think it was in the first drive, second drive. Mm-hmm. He did it multiple times. The interception that he threw, that Jalen threw on the last play was a bomber blitz where he sent a safety up the middle. He had Sue and the other defensive lineman containing the pocket, so he had nowhere to escape to. I mean, it was just a masterful game plan by Todd Bowles, and it just, for me, it shows me that I'm not, that we're not all crazy. That when you are able to pressure and you're able to bring different looks, how you can affect the game. You don't have to blitz every single play, but in certain situations when you can dial it up, that makes a huge difference in the game. Those turnovers are huge. And really that's what the game came down to, especially early on, is them turnovers, getting the Eagles out of their game, forcing them to not be able to run the ball. And this is what happens when you have a defensive coach that's playing aggressive and that's getting after it.
Masterful job. and you can call a game like Todd called, where you sending corners, where you sending safeties up the middle, where you're dropping out defensive ends that happen multiple times, and defensive tackles, you dropping them out in coverage. You can do all of that stuff when you got no fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it. Like, I can't make that up for you guys. Like, I can't. Like, there's nothing on the Eagles offense when you're playing a team of that caliber that's saying, okay, we absolutely fear this player. Like, there's certain teams you just can't do certain things against.
Yeah.
And they will do it against those teams. So how much more will they do it against the Eagles?
Good point.
So so could we have helped out Jalen Reagor with sticking to the run? Yeah. But it's hard to stick to the run when you're down 17.
It was still early though.
It was. It's hard. I'm just saying it's hard. They abandoned it. They abandoned it pretty easily. But it's not just sticking to the run. It was the way that we were being handled.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? It's not just the running. Okay, just run it. No, when the offensive line are getting handled, it's tough to rely on that.
Got you. That's fair enough.
So all right.
So
Jalen Hurts struggles. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts' struggles, right? So Jalen Hurts that game goes 23 for 43, 258, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, sacked a few times, quarterback rating 60, ran the ball 8 for 40 yards, basically. Largely ineffective. Jalen Hurts missed several throws.
Yep.
Bad ball placement. I praised him. I've been praising him for the last 3 weeks, Q, about what ball placement.
Yeah.
He didn't have it this game. He didn't have it at all. Missed a few wide open players. He got pressured on when he threw the pick. Devontae Smith. He got pressure and couldn't get that ball out. I thought that he could have drifted left rather than turning and running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have that fade away that Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes do all the time, where they know that the blitz is coming. So instead of turning and running away from it, that you kind of just leak in that direction away from the pressure, so you can be able to get that throw off in time. I thought that if he was a more seasoned player, that could have been a possible touchdown. Should have been a touchdown. Missed one wide open, the Quez in the cover 2 that he ran right through the middle on it. Yeah,
it was a rough one.
Yeah,
it was a rough one. And honestly, it's hard to even really understand what happened there. I mean, he just looked like he wasn't ready to play, to be honest with you. And then on top of that, with the pressures and the different schemes and looks that he was getting thrown at him, he just looked like a deer in the headlights a little bit. And that probably was the first time, that first half especially, that's probably the first time where he looked like the game was too much for him. He's had his ups and downs all season, but that first half was pretty rough.
Yeah, here's the other thing too, is that Troy Aikman was calling the game, and Troy was pretty accurate. First of all, it was a lack of getting Devontae Smith the ball early, right? Yeah. And when Troy was calling the game, it's like, hey, listen, if I had Michael Irvin on my team and they were playing coverage like this where the guy is 10 yards off, Mike Irvin is going to have 10 catches this first half. It's just like it's impossible. Like, I'm going to run up 12 yards, 15 yards and have him stop. Like Devontae Smith, you can do that. And they tried it a few times, but the ball was just either left or right. It wasn't in right position. And he was very nice, but, with some of the things that he said, just like, hey, that should have been a completion, rather than saying, like the quarterback is inaccurate at this moment, at the end time, it's like, no, he's just said, hey, that should have been a completion, so it was tough to watch. And for those, Jalen Hurts apologists out there, you got to say what it is, right? So there's some people that feel like he's earned the right to be the starting quarterback next year. There's some people that don't think that. I don't know where I am with this. I do say that 16 touchdowns this year, 9 interceptions is nothing to write home about. A 60% completion percentage in this league where everything is kind of dink and dunk now, and he's getting better throwing opportunities than most quarterbacks because of his legs, right? So his completion percentage should be a lot higher. Yeah. Just because of the way that the defense is dictated, because he's out there. You're usually in a favorable passing situation because of the way he can hurt you with his legs, because the defense has to account for that. So you're usually going to get off coverage and/or more guys in the box, meaning that you can have, whatever passing concept you want on the outside. With that being said, I don't know. Like, I know that 16 touchdowns or nine picks, that's not good enough in the NFL. Yeah. It's just not when you got a quarterback on the other side just threw for 43 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Right. So he just threw for 43 touchdowns. Our quarterback got 16. Now that's Tom Brady. Okay. So let's say somewhere in the middle. Can we get 28 touchdowns, 25 touchdowns, 20? Yeah. And we've missed a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah. We've missed a lot.
And that's what you got to get, because you can't be 16 and 8 interceptions. That's just that's backup quarterback stuff. It's not an NFL quarterback stat line. Yeah. It just isn't.
I agree with you. I'm kind of, it's tough because, during that little stretch, he was starting to show a lot of progress and starting to see the field, starting to get a little more accurate on those throws. And this one game, and you try not to base everything off of this one game, but just this one game at a huge moment. Now, granted, we already said it. This is a very good defensive team, very good coach, defensive team. We hadn't been winning against winning teams over 500 all year. So how much did we really expect to really come out of this game? Mm-hmm. But that being said, he looked like just in 2 weeks from the game before Dallas to that game that he, digressed a lot. And so I'm a big proponent in competition. I can very well see the Eagles draft in a quarterback somewhere, maybe not in the first round, maybe so. But it'll be good to get some competition in there and get some he can definitely, I haven't written him off. I'll put it that way. I haven't written him off yet, but I do think that there needs to be a little bit of competition at that position.
Yeah. I don't like going into drafts depending on quarterbacks unless you have, guaranteed players, right? So if you can get a guaranteed player, if you can get Deshaun Watson, barring his, legal trouble, if there's no, if he's not in trouble, legally or anything like that, if he's proven innocent, I'm going after Deshaun Watson, or I'm going after somebody that I know can play, right? So that's my first opportunity. Before I get to a draft, before I get to trying to figure out a quarterback that way, how can I get Deshaun Watson in my building? Or how can I get someone of that caliber in my building? Because that's an instant organization type of a change, because we know what he can do at the quarterback position. It elevates everybody's play immediately. And now I can use my assets, my draft picks, if I still have them after acquiring him or acquiring someone of the such. I can use whatever else I have in order to build the team around him at that point in that time. So, yes, rookie quarterbacks, but they got to be slam dunks, man. They got to, like, you know, I don't see a quarterback being in that 15 to 24 range where the Eagles are going to be picking that's going to be that special. Just don't.
Fair enough.
You know, so usually quarterbacks go higher than they should, and this year will be no different.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll talk about Jalen Hurts a little bit later. Let's talk about Jonathan Gannon, because we're kind of all over the place. Let's talk about Jonathan Gannon. What did you see from him?
It's feel like I'm a broken record out here. Again, we've been saying, I feel like I've been saying it all year. You can't just go into a game, especially against Tom Brady, and just play 7-on-7. And
yeah,
that's what. Now the defensive back, the back half, the back seven played with terrible eyes the entire game, and that's why you saw a lot of guys being wide open. They're looking in the backfield. They're expecting run when tight ends are releasing, receivers are releasing scot-free. Nobody's getting a jam on them. And to me, that is what I took from this game. It was especially that first half. He coached very, very scared again. He coached very, very soft again. He coached to not make a mistake on defense. And you can't do that in a game like that. You can't do that against a quarterback like Tom Brady. Like, yes, you don't want to blitz every play. Yes, you don't want to show your coverage, but you also don't want to just sit back in the same coverage and just allow him to pick you apart. And you definitely don't want to allow, I saw 3 or 4 times seeing Mike Evans running scot-free, untouched down the middle of the field. Nobody even looking at him. Like, he's their number one receiver, and not one soul looked at him.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the most frustrating thing, is that it was like the entire team was progressing and doing new things and creating new looks on defense and offense. And then it was like everything just stopped in that game. And that's what happens. When you play a good team, they're going to figure you out pretty quickly. You got to be able to come in and adjust. You got to be able to change up some stuff. And it just never happened. It was extremely frustrating for me.
I just wish that they would have been physical when they played man-to-man, rather than just playing it off. And Mike beat Avonte Maddox on the corner route a few times just because it was just off coverage, and he didn't challenge him. He was playing inside leverage and didn't try anything in order to regain leverage. What do you think he's going? He's running straight at you, or not even straight at you. You're 2 yards inside of him, and he's just running straight. Where do you think he's going? He got his leverage already. If not, he's going to be attacking you, trying to gain leverage, right? He's just running right up the field. You're just happy to run next to him. Go ahead. There you go out. Okay. We got to get out there and challenge guys. And then I just saw some mistakes made in some zones. Like, when a guy's crossing your face, if you're a linebacker and you usually carry that guy for a few steps. Like, there's a few times on 3rd down, like TJ Edwards, like there's nobody else out there, and Mike Evans crosses your face. What are you looking back at the quarterback for? Where do you think he's going? There's no flat defender right now. Like, there isn't. If he crosses your face, it's over. Like, so, okay, why am I looking back at the quarterback in that moment? In that moment, I'm in man coverage because there's nobody on the other side of me. Just like little things like that was very, very irritating me. I was like, dude, why do we wait until this moment to start pulling out this stuff again?
Right.
Like,
so that last touchdown, everybody at home, go back and watch Mike Evans' last touchdown when he dove in the end zone. I want you to watch, if you can, look at the linebackers, look at the safety. Wilson was roll down into the box on the weak side. All right. That really was his play. But just go back and just watch the linebackers on that play. Watch the play action fake. Watch the receivers. Watch Mike Evans sprint straight up the field and all four of our linebackers.
Go ahead.
All four of our linebackers and the backside safety, who really doesn't have anything to do with the play action on that side. All of them step up. They allow Mike to run scot-free. And poor Rodney is getting stair-stepped across the field. And we talked about this. Them overlaps are almost impossible to cover if you're a deep safety, because you need someone to help you out to at least elevate the throw. So that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about when you say this is a game where you're playing one of the best teams in the league. You cannot make mistakes like that. You cannot have bad eyes on a play action fake when guys are releasing down the field and all our linebackers are stepping up into the run. And it happened time and time again. And yes, I understand everybody makes mistakes. I wasn't, perfect. I made mistakes all the time on defense, but like that right there can't happen in these types of games.
Those are the things that prove the way that our team played. We couldn't field a punt correctly.
Oh my God.
So we couldn't field a punt correctly that game. Defensive missed assignments, offense not realizing where your bread is buttered at with running the ball, receivers and quarterback that are constantly not on the same page. We didn't belong there. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and that's harsh. That's harsh. The Eagles did not belong in that game. I'm just telling you flat out. Because when you look at one side of the ball, when you look at the other games that are being played, like in this division, like we just didn't belong there. We didn't beat a team over 500 all year. And because there was a 7 seed, we were able to squeak into the playoffs. But we realized really quickly what a playoff team looks like and where we are.
Yeah. And that's probably the best thing that came from that game, right?
Yeah.
When we got to the playoffs, and then we saw, okay,
that we're not really a playoff team.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's all right. Yeah. I mean, it's a eye opener, right?
Yeah.
It should be eye opener for everybody. Right?
Yeah. All right. Let's do DraftKings.
Hold on, dude.
Oh, go ahead.
We got to talk about the punt return, because I almost many times I love this team. When I saw that muff punt, I couldn't believe it. I was just in disbelief in that situation. You're trying to get back into a game, and I hate piling on Jalen, but that right there, I had enough. That was it.
That was it for you.
That was it.
that was it.
I damn near turned the game off after that. I was like,
dude, I turned the game off in the third quarter. I turned it off. I couldn't. I was like, dude, this is such a terrible performance. People were texting me. It's like, oh, that catch by Devontae Smith for the touchdown. I was like, I ain't see it. I turned it off. I did. I couldn't watch it. I literally turned the TV off. I couldn't watch it. It was that bad. It was that bad of a performance. It was that bad of a performance offensively. I couldn't take it. I literally couldn't. And yes, when the Eagles were starting to get some momentum and we, started to play a little bit better, and there was multiple opportunities where we could have scored in that game. Just take a few field goals rather than, trying to go for it on fourth down early in the game. Halftime probably scored have been 17-6 or something like that. And then we got the ball coming out of the half. That's coaching, as well. But yeah, it was bad. So I will say this on, I don't know, man, like some people are built for this game, man. Some people are built for this game. Some people aren't. Some people are built for this game. Some people aren't, man. And you want everyone to succeed. You want them because you know that their family's good people. And, the Rager family, I know him. We played with his dad. I know him as a kid, a young man. I want him to succeed. He's a good kid. You want him to succeed. But he's not playing well. It's just not. And in the times where he is open, they can't hit him. I don't know if it's signals or the way the routes are being run. Usually when a quarterback can't time you up, that's usually you. It's not the quarterback most of the time. It's only been one time in my career where I was open a lot, and it's just quarterback just seemed to miss me all the time. But that was an anomaly. Out of 11 years, that was the only time that happened. That was once in 11 years. Usually the receivers can run such defined patterns and give good signals and indicators that the quarterback can be on good timing with you. And you go over it so much that you care enough that you want to know and you want to do what the quarterback is telling you to do. Just not playing well. So the muff punt, the problem I had with it was the hands up in the air like this at the end.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't my fault. Like that was kick catch interference.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Like, no. Like, I don't care what you feel. You have the right to the football. So you go up and enforce your dominance in the game. So if you feel pressure, I step toward it. I don't step away from it. And that's what the difference was in that play. He felt pressure and felt like he had to stop, right? The guy put enough pressure on him to stop him from doing his job, Q.
Yep.
He felt it. He felt it. He felt Miller coming down on his left side, our right side, if we're looking at the game, coming down his left side, and it caused him to stop his feet and reach for the ball rather than running up another step and getting under it.
Yeah.
That's not kick catch interference. That's called a distraction. That's called doing your job as a gunner, and he succeeded at it.
Yeah.
Because our guy didn't step toward the plate. He didn't step toward the ball. He didn't step toward the moment. The moment was just a little bit too big.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this. Did he signal fair catch?
He was halfway in between. He did. That wouldn't considered a fair catch. The fair catch got to be over. Otherwise, it's a penalty. He was in the middle of doing something that he shouldn't have been doing, which could have been also a reason for him not moving his feet toward, because you're doing a bunch of this stuff and moving toward and seeing the guy on the left side. It's a lot of information to kind of either you make the fair catch signal, boom, or you go get the ball. You can't be in between. And that's what we saw. We saw a guy in between.
Yeah.
And in between, put the balls on the ground.
Oh, that was brutal.
Yeah. I hope that may have been the last straw right there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have a vested interest in him doing well, and there may be somebody that gets fired because of that.
It's crazy.
But it won't be out there. Facts.
You know that. All right, let's get to this read. All right, today's podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. We're on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is celebrating with a huge odds boost for new customers. Counting down the Super Bowl 56, you can get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. If you're not a new customer, you can still get in on the action of the divisional round with the same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code ITB and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code ITB for 56-1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only, restrictions apply, in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nice. Nice. Q, let's get right into this because this is a Jalen Hurts segment. We're gonna couple of these questions together, right? So How much would you say Jalen Hurts improved this season? And if so, if he's improved, where do you think he's improved most?
Yeah, I think if, barring this last game, if you look at the entire scope of work over the entire season, I do think that he got better. I do think that he's still got a long way to go, but I do think he did some good things well. Obviously, running the ball well. I don't think many people have questioned his leadership. It seems like he does a good job there. Off the field, he seems like he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. There's still some accuracy issues there. There's still seeing the field. I think just little nuances of the game that he probably hadn't picked up. Really, you can make the argument that Alabama, they don't really develop. They've never really developed quarterbacks particularly well over the years, although Mac Jones is playing well right now. But just over the scope of the year, I do think that he got better. I still do believe, though, that there needs to be some competition at that position moving forward, just to see if you can pull more out of him. And, I think a lot of his shortcomings were partially his fault, but partially of it, I feel like a lot of his coaching as well. I mean, some of the play calls, some of the, I don't know what type of film he's watching. I feel like the Eagles should be able to get more out of him at this point.
Yeah, I very rarely do we have a disagreement. I disagree with you wholeheartedly with that last comment. I agree with everything else before then. I don't think as a coaching staff, you can do more for Jalen Hurts than Nick Sirianni and his staff has tried to do this year. We've seen them go to a college offense to try that. That didn't work. They tried a shotgun, throw the ball dominant offense. That didn't work. We got killed in Dallas early in the season doing that. They went on the center for a few games, Denver, a few others. Raiders at the end of the game, we're going to run the ball well. Then they tried it on a heavy shotgun, RPO type of run game and making it dominant, and then throw the ball as only when we must throw the ball type of an offense, which led to Jalen Hurts playing a lot better. There's always plays on the field for Jalen Hurts. Every time I watch the tape, there's always an open man for the most part. There's somebody to throw the ball to. Can he pick it up in time? I won't say always, but most of the time. So I don't think this was coaching. I don't know if you can do a better job with Jalen Hurts in the NFL and get Jalen Hurts-led team to a playoff when he's in his growth and development stage.
Good point.
So I don't know from that perspective. I understand in his last game that the run-pass ratio was off, and that doesn't help Jalen Hurts at all because you're making him something that he's not, which is he's not a pure pocket passer. He's just not. And you force him to do things like that when you take the run game away from him. We saw that early in the season. So I agree with you. If you're saying it from this perspective, this game, I can agree with that, for the most part, but I still think it's a lack of talent on the offensive side and a lack of execution more than coaching.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and this is probably not a fair question, but I just want to get your perspective on this. If Sirianni is not the coach, let's say Sean McVay is a coach, or let's say Andy's a coach, or give me another quarterback guru type of coach, do you think he would have more success?
Kyle Shanahan,
or Shanahan or something like that. Do you think he would be further along?
I don't think that these other coaches would be indebted to Jalen Hurts.
Fair enough.
Right. So I know Coach Reed from the perspective of can he win games with Jalen Hurts and make stuff work, but he's not going to be indebted to Jalen Hurts. He's just going to be a guy that is, you know, in there because we need him right now, but he's not like our long-term solution. And you can see that from going from Alex Smith, who played really good for Coach Reed, to Patrick Mahomes, right? Because everybody's looking for that guy.
Got you.
You know, so Jalen Hurts, for a lot of these guys, could they have done what you know Nick Sirianni has done, or maybe even a game or two better? They possibly could have had Jalen Hurts play a little bit better. But there's still a ceiling to a guy that is undeveloped at throwing the football. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do when he doesn't have the strongest arm and he's not aware of what he's looking at just yet. It's only so much you can do. So it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't type of thing right now because of his development from a coaching perspective. Because you can't run a simpler offense than what the Eagles are running. And I'm not saying that talking about, you know, brain, because I believe that I know Jalen. He's a very smart kid. What I'm saying is that based on where he is as a player and as a quarterback, seeing NFL concepts, the Eagles run a very vanilla offense, very vanilla, very few schemed up design plays. It's usually singles, Jalen Reagor one-on-one. I'm going to throw up a goal ball. I'm going to throw up a stop. Devontae Smith in the slot. I'm running a corner. It's nothing tricky to it. With that being said, the quarterback should be confident in knowing what he's looking at because the concepts are very, very simple. So, do you see him ever becoming a top 10 pick? I mean, top 10 player, top 10 quarterback?
That's
too much of a reach right now.
Yeah, that's a tough question right now. I mean, after judging from what we've seen this season, it's going to take a lot for them to improve to that level.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, but I mean, we're talking top 10. You're up there with some of the best in the game.
It's hard to get to 10. It's hard to get in that, like, it's hard to get in a number. Just think about it. It's hard you talking about Brady, you're talking about Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. It's hard. Like, we're already at 7 right now, and then you start getting into the guys that are right there as well. Like, you know, the Derek Carrs and Stafford's just playing great this year. Like, right now we're almost at 10. So it's kind of hard to get to that level and that number. We probably didn't say Kyler Murray. Like, it's a bunch of guys that are. It's hard to get into top 10. But our guy, you know, we trying to get him to top 20. You know, let's get, before we get to top 10, let's get to top 20.
Yeah.
You know, and do you think we're gonna stick with him, or you think he's gone? He's not going. He's gonna be on the roster. Do you think he's gonna be? You think we're improving this position, or we're gonna stick with him as a starter?
My gut feeling is, now after this conversation, my gut feeling is they're probably gonna try to move on from him. Now, that being said, like you said, I think the only way that happens is if they're able to package some kind of a deal to get a Deshaun Watson, or to get, you know, Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. I think that's the only way they would 100% move on from him. And which, yeah. I mean, at that point, you know, that's probably, I mean, that's the better move. Is as young as Hurts is, if you get a chance to get Deshaun Watson, get a chance to get Russell Wilson, those guys instantly upgrade your roster, your entire roster. So that part I understand.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you trade Jalen Hurts and 2 first-round picks for Kirk Cousins?
That's a steep price, man. But Listen, I actually like Kirk Cousins. A lot of people don't like him, but I think he's a damn good quarterback. I don't know if I would give up 2 firsts, but I would consider it. Yeah. I don't. That's a steep price. 2 first rounders.
2 first rounders is the steep price, but it's going to take something like that in order to, they wanted 3 first rounds for Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
You know, so
that's a good
so I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying, because a lot of people are like, Kurt's he's a numbers guy. Kurt always puts up numbers. What he does doesn't equate to wins though. But can that change with a better team? I don't know.
With an offensive-minded head coach.
Well, yeah.
Sirianni's offensive-minded, you know.
But he has ballers. You can't get better receiver core than Thielen and Justin Jefferson.
Very true.
So he has some ballers.
Got Conklin at tight end. He's got some ballers.
He got some ballers, you know, and they're not making the playoffs, you know, so. So something that he's doing, I haven't broken down the tape. There's something that Kirk Cousins is doing that's lying to us as far as stats. Usually that's what the case is. When a guy has really good numbers, but their team is still not making the playoffs, you have to look into the film a little bit deeper, because there's something that he's doing that's not translating, that the stats are not picking up.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I will tell you this in a heartbeat: Russell and Deshaun for three first rounders in a heartbeat, or even Derek Carr. There's something like
Derek Carr too.
Yeah, I like Carr, man. I didn't, you know, up until this year, I couldn't stand the guy as a quarterback.
He was balling.
Grew on me this year, man. Like
yeah. Okay. I'm just putting out scenarios. I know Kirk Cousins that he you know, it's some contract discussions and things that are going on there. So I just thought I would mention it. All right, let's move on from this topic, because we kind of got that. Kind of got that down. All right, so I'm gonna do this, man. I'm gonna do the Manscaped read.
Okay.
I'm doing it live from my phone. All right. Support for the Q&A show is brought to you by Manscaped, the champion of the world for men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and they just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard it right, 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code QA at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I've tried the 4.0 and I'm blown away with the craftsmanship, and details are second level. Nobody wants to get hurt down there. You know what I mean. So Manscaped engineered the ultimate growing and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredible, comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer has a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces those accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You got to be comfortable down there. This upgraded trimmer also has a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock, and has a 4000K LED spotlight that can turn on and off for more precision on your shave. The new lawnmower even allows you to customize your trim with guard length sizes 1 through 4. How about wireless charging? Their new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction to help the battery last longer. Men, you can't use the same trimmer on your nuts and face. Nobody needs pubes in their mouth. Get your own ball and hair body trimmer with Manscaped. Make me time the best time like Jason Avant always does. Get 20% off and free shipping with code QA at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with code QA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code QA. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped, and your balls will thank you.
Nice. Oh, I like that one.
All right. All right. Let's get into a little bit more. Eagles, biggest question marks heading into 2022 season.
Well, we already addressed that one. I think the biggest will be
quarterback.
quarterback, and possibly now have to replace a defensive coordinator because Gannon's getting some looks at as a possible head coach moving on. It's going to be a lot of change for next year.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're desperate in the coaching world. I saw Hines Ward get a coaching interview the other day by the Texans.
What? Head coach?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if that was just we got to interview a black guy deal, but I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even know he was coaching.
Yeah, he coaches at I think at HBCU somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to fix that rule. The Rooney
rule. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's the biggest. Jalen Hurts is the biggest thing. Fletcher Cox, big number, big cap hit, a lot of dead money. Doesn't like this system. Come out multiple times to say it. Declining as a player right now, or he isn't declining. He just hates the system so much that he can't really get, he's not being, highlighted, or he's not being, in his optimal position in order to be a good football player. So do you get rid of him? I think those are two really big. And remember, $100 million guys, you can't have a lot of those guys. So if you do go out and get a Deshaun Watson or somebody that makes a lot of money, those two contracts usually don't match that well.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, you want to try to keep that guy because it's going to entice them more. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah. I mean, I personally feel like Deshaun he's not going, if he's coming, he's not going to care if Fletcher's on the team personally.
He doesn't care. Yeah.
He wants that money.
Give me that money. Yeah. I don't understand how they allow David Culley to just take the rap for this season and not even play Deshaun. I don't understand how that even works. I really don't.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, that they did him so dirty with that whole situation.
It's beyond me. It's beyond me. We're going to purposely sabotage this season, get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, Deshaun Watson, and half of the other receivers in our team, and we're going to hire you and pay you a lot of money to take the downfall for the season. And thank you. Like, what? Craziness. All right, look, that's not our issue. Let's keep going. All right, Eagles. Lack of receiver, lack of veteran receivers. Should free agents be the priority to address the receiver position? Jason Kelce, considering retirement each and every year, after every year, it comes up. Brandon Brooks has been hurt multiple times. And then Fletcher's, banged up. I mean, not banged up, but, disgruntled, and we owe him a lot of money. So these situations, what do you think? Free agents and all these guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be it's going to look like a completely different team next year, especially in the line. I don't see Brandon Brooks coming back. I just feel like he just can't stay healthy. I can see Kelce, possibly coming back for one more. His heart's in Philly. He loves it here. I can see them probably convincing him to come back for one more. Fletch is probably gone. Unfortunately, he's very disgruntled. And truth be told, I'd be angry too. I mean, he's used to playing the game one way. He's used to playing aggressive, and this defense has been anything but. So I honestly think out of those three, the only one that'll probably be back, and that's a big if, is Kelce.
Yeah, this will be a sad time for Philadelphia Eagles fans in general, just because these are the last players from the Super Bowl team. Yeah. And, when you start getting rid of the foundation members, because we're starting to get up there where Brandon Graham is older, even though he's a still solid player, got hurt. But Jason Kelce is getting older, and Fletcher Cox, and these guys that were there for, you know, the best time in Philadelphia Eagles history. Fans are, you know, it's an attachment there. Yeah. And for us to look at the Eagles team and there's no Zach Ertz now, and there's no, you know, possibly no Jason Kelce, no, you know, Selleck, no, like that team is gone.
Yep.
You know, once you know, Brandon Graham, Fletcher, and a few others, you know, go, this probably Derek Barnett's last year here, you know, because he didn't perform in this contract year, you know, the best. Like, so when you start to you know, unpack this thing, that team is pretty much gone.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Life happens quick, man.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you, do you think that they should bring in a veteran receiver next year?
They need somebody. I don't care if he's vet, or old or young. Just bring me somebody that can get open, man. That can make some plays and can be accountable. And to be honest with you, I know Devontae Smith is being force-fed right now. And I like Devontae Smith. I like him a lot. But we need a guy that is so dynamic that he doesn't need this many targets.
Yeah.
Okay. So Devontae Smith is a very good player. Very good player. And I think that he can do more. But we need a guy that scares the hell out of people. Yeah. You need that dude. You need him he doesn't need 10 catches in order to affect the game.
Yeah.
I want somebody that can affect the game with 3 catches, 4 catches. You look up, man, that dude had 4 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's the guy I want on the team.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
When you look at the playoff teams, the teams that won, they have 1-2 guys that are studs at receiver. I mean,
yeah. From Odell and Cooper Kupp,
yep,
to, you know, Jamar Chase and, you know, Boyd and T. Higgins. You know what Kansas City out there playing with is no joke. Mike Evans is still out there balling, right? So yes, when you look down the Stephon Diggs and you know, Dalton and Knox, and like, yeah, it's a lot of talent out there. Julio and AJ Brown, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of talent.
Yeah. Yep.
And our talent is not that close. It just isn't. So we need that player. I don't care if it's a veteran or a young player, whoever it is. I saw Jamar Chase come in and do something. Man, I love that dude, man. I love me some Jamar Chase, man.
Listen, we couldn't move up to get him, so don't even go there.
Oh no, I'm not going there. We can't go up there and get him. But I'm just saying, like, you just gotta love. You gotta like you gotta love. Like, I gotta love it. Like, I gotta love that. Him and Justin Jefferson. My gosh, at LSU. Oh my gosh, that's better than Land. They're better than Jarvis Landry and Odell. They're better.
Yeah.
Like, they are. Like, and a lot of people have met, yeah, what? No, those two, they're better receivers than Odell and Jarvis Landry.
It's crazy, man.
That's an embarrassment of riches right there, boy. All right, let's get to these questions, and we're gonna end this, man. Last one of the year. You can go with the first one. I get the second one.
All right, this is from Steve A. Let me find out Stephen A is sending questions. No, so Steve A says Jalen Hurts often waits until the clock is below 3 seconds before the ball snap. Not talking about the time, when you're trying to burn the time down. I'm concerned at about 30% of the time that threatens a 5-yard penalty. Why do you think that happens so often? Are the plays taking too long to come in, or is Sirianni purposely waiting, trying to read the defense? From a defense's perspective, when you prepared to face an opposing quarterback who cut it close, did Jim Johnson ever have the D-line practice timing their rush on the play clock. So he's basically asking, is it a problem that Jalen is holding the snap to the last couple seconds before?
Well, so there's a couple reasons for it. One, the play call could come in late. There's a lot of checks and balances, especially when you have an offensive-minded head coach that does call the plays, and you have an offensive coordinator up there. So usually there's a meeting going on in situations about plays. And that's usually going on when the headset goes off for the quarterback, right? And that's usually, I believe, 10 seconds left or 5 seconds left, whatever it is, in the play clock where the coach can't say anything anymore to the quarterback, right? So right from there, they're talking about the next play, right? So what can we call next in this situation? They're getting that next play together. So sometimes the play call can come in late. The other thing that can add to that is that the Eagles huddle every time. When you run the huddle offense, right, guys are, being pulled from, they caught a 40-yard pass, the line has to catch up. You got to huddle up again before you know it, just to start the play. You're starting to play with 12 seconds. You're just breaking the huddle at that point. You got a motion coming, so then there's another few seconds with that. Usually teams that have enough time to make checks and audibles and do what Peyton Manning does, and there's usually people that play from the line of scrimmage, meaning that they are always in a no huddle situation. That's the only way you can accomplish that. Usually teams that play from a huddle, most of the time they're later in the play clock before the ball is snapped.
Good point. And I got two things to say about that. First, so the question, if Jim Johnson had the D-line practice their timing. So first of all, no, the D-line, their hands are down. They're not looking at the clock. The only people that usually can see it are the back seven. And in some games, the secondary, we would use it against a guy like Peyton Manning that did use the clock, like you said, Jason. And the only way you would really use it is if you're trying to show your coverage late. So if let's say you're going to single high, cover 1, cover 3, you would show a 2 shell. And then with like 3 seconds left on the clock, you start to rotate. And often you have in tape, you can see how long the quarterback takes before he starts to get into the cadence of getting the snap. So I wouldn't say we use it a whole lot. It kind of gets distracting as a secondary player. But
yeah,
we did it at times. The times we did it against Peyton, he ate us alive. So I don't know how good it works.
That's funny. I don't think it worked on. It didn't work for many people, so don't take it too hard. Yeah, so I don't think the play, running down, waning down is necessarily a bad thing, as long as you can do everything that you were set out to do. You can make your audibles and you can get in motion and all that stuff. If it's at 3 seconds or 2 seconds, that doesn't matter. Like you said, the defensive line is looking down at the ground. They're like, they can't even see. Usually the play clock is in some obscure place that you can barely see anyway. It's usually away from the normal clock. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to see anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So now I'll ask this last question. Andy S. would love to hear your thoughts about whether the Eagles should sign players who don't have a contract beyond this year. Also, any other players whose contract you think should be extended? Maybe Javon Hargrave, players who don't have contracts beyond this year. Steven Nelson, Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, Greg Ward, Kelsey, Herbert, Barnett, Kerrigan, Ridgeway, Anthony Harris, McLeod, Singleton. Dang, everybody is up for free agency.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think some of the names on this list, definitely we need to try to get back. I think Hargrave, we should try to get back. Steven Nelson, probably out of necessity because we have no depth at the cornerback position. McLeod, I think we should bring back. Boston, I think we should bring back at the right price. Kelsey, that's a lot of people, man. Anthony Harris he can go. Kerrigan didn't show enough, he can go. But I think you try to pinpoint those key positions where you have players that played well enough and then you have to look at the depth behind them. And at those positions I highlighted, there's not enough depth behind it.
Yeah, I can see out of necessity, like you have a Steven Nelson there just out of necessity. Now, I don't know how much that will cost you and if it's worth it, because you can get a guy that is, you know, on a Steven Nelson deal this year, that $4 million or whatever it is, and still do the same thing. Maybe even a better player, you know. So I don't necessarily see them re-signing him because of the money that he wants most of the time. Because remember, he started out at $7 million, he couldn't get that, so he went down. So I think priority for me is Hargrave, Kelsey, Hargrave, and Herbig. I think it's a necessity to get Herbig, because if you lose Brandon Brooks, and based on where our offensive line has been these last 7-8 years where everybody's been getting hurt, you kind of need depth there, right? So you got Landon Dickerson, you got who do we have on IR? Isaac. Malu is coming back, right? So you kind of need that depth at these positions now. Yeah. You know, so I think that's a big one. McLeod, I would try to figure out a way to sign McLeod. I think Epps can take Harris's place with no problem. Yeah. Singleton's been our leading tackler, but I don't think that we should pursue that. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my perspective on it. Yeah.
And we're wrong there. Javon Hargrave he's got 1 year left on his contract. So at least we got him. We didn't have to worry about re-signing him. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna look like a completely different team next year, man.
It will. Some of these guys will be back. We'll see who they are.
Yeah. Be interesting.
Maybe 3. We'll see. Maybe 3. We'll see. Thank you guys for tuning in. You're going to hear more from us throughout the off season. Make sure that you follow Inside the Birds on all their platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also, send your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. We want to thank Hunter, Jeff, Adam, everyone that's responsible for giving us the opportunity at Inside the Birds, and all the fans. Thank you guys again. I'm signing out. Yours truly, Jason Avant. Quintin Mikell have the last words.
As always, man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, fans, for coming on this ride with us, and it's been a fun experience the whole time. So we'll definitely be continuing on, and appreciate it, everybody. Have a good day.
Peace. Go Birds.